If you're a web developer building applications with Angular, React, Vue, or just HTML and good old JavaScript, and you want to leverage that inside of a native mobile application, there's no better place to look than .NET MAUI with some brand new experiments that I want to break down all today to reuse all of your existing web content and leverage native components and APIs and goodness with .NET MAUI for iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows. So tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James, and I'm back today talking about hybrid development with .NET MAUI. If you're here for the first time, you're like, hey, I'm an Angular or I'm a Vue or React developer, or I'm a .NET developer with ASP.NET Core using some of those different frameworks. Well, I have something to tell you, which is you can reuse all that goodness inside of .NET MAUI to build out native iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows apps. And now I'm not a web developer, so everything you're going to see today is not going to be beautiful because I'm not a web developer. I want to show you the basics of how you can reuse that knowledge and skill inside of a .NET MAUI app. Now, .NET MAUI builds on top of iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows for .NET, giving you access to native APIs and native controls and all that goodness from a single API. You build some UI with a C# or XAML markup, and you get native controls rendered on those different platforms. In a previous video, I talked about how if you're a Blazor developer, which is a great framework for ASP.NET Core developers to build web apps, you can reuse your Razor components between your Blazor website and a .NET MAUI application. And you can mix and match UI. And you can do the same with this experiment called a HybridWebView that you can check out today and give feedback on. Alon, who did a lot of the Blazor hybrid work and with the team and has talked a lot about with me, is back with this experiment to give it a try. And I think this is really cool because if you have any of these existing web frameworks, you can now pull them in to a native app. And why would you do that? Well, you want to do it because you can leverage the native shell, ship it to the App Store, and you can blend and mix and match UI components and also access native APIs. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, let's first start with this .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. Now, this is an app that is using a .NET MAUI shell here for iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows, and it is blending together this Blazor WebView inside of a native tab control. We also have native pages that have a blend of the two, a button and a Blazor WebView. We have ones that are just Blazor and that pull in a full new page. So here we can see, for example, new page 1 can sit side by side my Razor pages. And if we open this up, we can see that I have my home, I have my counter that's over here, I have a weather that's all HTML and Razor, and this new page 1, which is native controls, which is nice. And this is what I did in my previous walkthrough video, so definitely go check that out if you're interested in that. Now, this is also really cool because if I go into this check internet option and I look at what that looks like, we can see that this is accessing native APIs via .NET MAUI to access the network capabilities of the device. There's tons of these APIs built in, or you can always access iOS, Android, Mac, or Windows APIs directly in C#, which is super cool. But we can see that this is a Razor page. We have check internet. It calls this method. Amazing. And all the C# .NET stuff is just running inside the .NET MAUI application. All right, but what if you have just HTML and JavaScript, right? Or some Angular or some React stuff? How do I do that? Well, here's what we're going to do is we're going to open up a brand new Visual Studio. And we're going to create a brand new .NET MAUI application, just straight up .NET MAUI, nothing else. All right, here we go. New project. When you go into new project inside of Visual Studio 2022 and you've installed the .NET MAUI workload, you're going to get a MAUI dropdown, and I'm going to create a MAUI app. Now, you can also create a MAUI Blazor app if you're going to add Blazor into it. That'll give you all the scaffolding, but I'm just going to blend in a little bit of UI here from native and also from the web. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to say .NET MAUI app. I'm going to call it MAUI app 1, and we're going to create this. There we go. Okay. So like I said, this is an experiment. And you're going to find right here on GitHub, on Alon's GitHub, the MAUI Hybrid WebView. And this is going to walk you through everything you need to know. And I'll put links into the show notes as well of how to go ahead and access this. And again, it's an experiment, so it's not shipping. It's just it's in Alon's GitHub. So there you go. So there we have. So here we have it. Okay, cool. So this, for example, is just a .NET MAUI application, nothing special at all, right? So this is all this looks like as straight just native controls with this HTML or the XAML here that is rendering some labels, some buttons, and some images. So we want to add in some web content. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a NuGet package. So I'm going to say manage NuGet packages. I'm going to make sure the include pre-release is there when I go to browse. So that's what I want to make sure is there. And we're going to search for MAUI hybrid WebView. There we go. And we're going to get the elan ejl.maui hybrid WebView. And this is on preview through. I'm going to hit install. Okay, perfect. Hit apply and we are good to go. All right, now the next thing that I need to do once this has been installed is go into my MAUI program, and we're going to go ahead and enable this support into the dependency injection service. I'm going to say builder.services.add hybrid WebView. Perfect. Now up top, that's all you'll need. So this just adds the hybrid WebView support and totally good to go. Nice. Now we need to add some HTML and some JavaScript. So let's go ahead and check this out and how to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into my resources. And this is where .NET MAUI has a bunch of cross-platform things like app icons, fonts, images, raw assets, splash screens, and styles. And this is going to be a web content, but it's not going to be from the web. It's going to be inside of my application. So I'm going to go into my raw and I'm going to add a new folder and I'm going to call this hybrid root. You can call this whatever you want, but this is going to be my root folder. And I'm just going to add in a little bit of HTML and a little bit of JavaScript. Let's open this up. Now, this HTML here is from the sample repo. This here is just an HTML page, has some header information, no title, obviously, but it's going to pull in this hybrid WebView JavaScript file. That's going to come directly from that NuGet package. It's also going to add a JavaScript script here, which is myapp.js, and we'll take a look at that in a second. All this is going to do is going to have an input field that asks me for some text, and then it's going to have a button that says, hey, can you send this over to C#? Because we want to talk to C#. I want to send from JavaScript over to C#. And that's going to call this method, which is send message to C#. And that's going to be located in specifically myapp.javascript. So here we see my function, send message to C#, and this is where a special extension from JavaScript comes in. We saw here here we have this hybrid WebView.js, we have hybrid WebView, and we have send raw message to .net. Okay, so it's going to take from the DOM, the document, find the element of message input, and say hybrid WebView send raw message to .net. It's going to take that message and send it over. Okay, pretty cool. All right, now what we're going to do is go back into my main page over here. And I'm going to go ahead and actually add, I'm going to add it into here. So we're going to add that hybrid WebView into here. So the first thing we're going to need to do is add a namespace. So I'm going to say XMLNS, that's an XML namespace, basically like a using statement. I'm going to say EJL, just because we're going to use what's in the documentation. We'll do that. And I'm going to type in hybrid WebView. Perfect. So what this is saying is grab me the hybrid WebView namespace from the assembly of hybrid WebView, and that's going to be from that NuGet package. Now, all I need to do is type in EJL hybrid WebView, and we have a hybrid WebView. Very cool. But we're going to need to specify a few different properties here. So I can say hybrid asset root, and this is going to be the hybrid root. So where are the assets specifically for? So we have multiple pages, multiple apps. We can break those into different areas. I'm also going to say main file, and this is going to specify my index.html, which is going to be that specific HTML file inside of it. And then I can specify a method in C# that will get invoked whenever a raw message is received. So I'm going to say raw message received and create that event handler. That's pretty cool. All right. So let's take a look at the code behind here. All right, we have our normal counter plus plus, that's cool. All right, awesome, nice. Now what we can also do is say, well, whenever I receive this message, let's see what comes in. We get a message with event args E, that's kind of nice. And if I look at E dot, we can see that I have the message. There we go, so I can say var, I'll say message equals E dot message, cool, that sounds good. Now what we want to do is we want to pop up a dialog box. So it's going to be a native dialog box that's going to display this message from JavaScript, okay? So we don't really know what UI thread this might come back on, so we're going to use a dispatcher to pop this up since we're going to be invoking some UI. So I'm going to say await, and it's going to add this little async flag here for async await information. I'm going to say dispatcher dot dispatch async. I'm going to say async, pass it in a little method here. I'm going to say await and then display alert. And .NET MAUI pages have action sheets, alerts, and different boxes that you can pop up natively. I'm going to say JS message, and then I can say message, and then I'll say okay, just like that. All right, like literally that's it. That's all you got to do. You add a little HTML, you add a little JavaScript, and you just enable the Blazor, the hybrid web view, add it into your main page, add it in here, and hit compile. That's it. Now, of course, you can run this on iOS, Android, Mac, or Windows, but it's all going to work the same. It's going to use the WebView control natively on that platform. So on Windows, for example, WebView 2, on Android, the Android WebView, for example, there. Okay, now what we should get when we hit debug is our actual hybrid WebView side by side our control. So let me go and pull this over. And we're going to notice a thing here that you might run into, which is like, where is it at? I don't see it here, James. And here, right now at least, it can't really calculate the height of it. So we'd actually have to put it in a grid or make it the full page, or we can just give it a height request. So I'm just going to go in and say height request of 100, for example, here. And now when hot reload kicks in, I hit save, we're going to see that now our sort of hybrid view is coming up right here. I have your message. I'll say hello from JS. There we go. I'm going to go into my code behind and add a breakpoint. That's cool. And now hit send to C#. And now we can see hello from JS. This is going to then hit display alert, which is a native, in this case, WinUI 3 control that's being popped up, which is really, really cool, right? That's awesome. That's inside of there. Now, I might want to spice this up a little bit. So for example, what I might want to end up doing here is just making the whole page this JavaScript and HTML page, right? The whole hybrid web view. So here, I'm just going to stop debugging and let's just get rid of some of this code that's inside of here, right? So you can mix and match if you want, but I probably just want to, get rid of everything inside of here. So let's make it the whole page, get rid of that height request, hit go again. And now this will make the entirety of that content page it, okay? So here we go. Let's go ahead and see, here we go again. Boop. Awesome, cool. And now I can say hello full screen, just like that, and say send to C#, get our message, and go again. Nice. Now let's take it a step further though, because what if I did want to check the internet, for example? I can still do that, right? If I make this call, I could call into C# automatically and do something. So if I come in and take a look one more time at that Blazor app, let's just copy this code here that we had earlier. All right. And I'm going to say if message equals internet, let's type that in. We're going to do one thing, else let's just do what we're doing here. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to wrap this with a dispatcher call, just like that. And call that there and close it out. Perfect. Nice. So now if the message equals internet, then go check connectivity, see if I have internet, else go off, get the connection profile and do a little pop-up that shows me that here too, which is cool. So now I'm going to say internet. There we go. Send. Now this is using .NET Hot Reload. So here we can see internet. This is going to go off into the dispatcher. It's going to say, do I have internet? I do. I can go and actually give me my connection profiles, which is Ethernet, which is what I'm on right now. And then pop up that dialog box, which shows it to me right there, which is pretty neat. All right, cool. So we saw blending some UI together. We saw the full page in there. What else can we do? Well, if you actually go in to the full sample repo from Alon, you're going to see a few things. You're going to see something very similar to what I just showed, but you're also going to see an entire ReactJS application. If we go into this folder here, into raw, we can see that there's an entire React to-do application with tons of static CSS and JavaScript and all these things inside of here. And if I look at my main page, we can see that I have a label here with this grid, the HybridWebView. That's pretty nice. That's going to fill it up. And if I go into the code behind, we can see that there's not a lot there. Inside of here, we're going to see that we do have access to our HybridWebView control. We actually have a whole data store inside of here. We're enabling web tools. We can invoke JavaScript inside of here. We can send messages to and from JavaScript. So here we can actually invoke a JavaScript method inside of here, a full application, which is really, really neat. That's in here, right? If we go into that to-do store, if I go to definition, we can see here, this is going to give us just C#.NET logic to manage all of our to-do list items. So here we're going to add an item, edit a task, and we can manage all of this to and from C# and JavaScript. So here I'm just going to run this application, and this will be a full React application, ReactJS application that's now embedding inside of the application. So here's that main page again. It has a little label on here, which is going to display this to-do app title. And then here, we are going to get the full application up and running. There we go. Awesome. And here we go. I'm going to pull it over. And this is neat because now I can say edit video, hit add. And what I want you to show you is that to-do items 4 is updated there as well. So that's really cool, right? If I look at that here, we can see that whenever I change items, it does an update here to to-do app title, which will then do a property change notification to get the data and get the count. So here I can go ahead and do this. I can delete an item and we get those updating here with some native UI and our entire ReactJS application. Now, there's other samples inside of here to check out as well. So for example, you can see the entire source code for the HybridWebView, which is really nice. So you can tweak it. But there's also a simple back and forth C# interop, which is going to show you not only how to receive messages, but also send raw messages to JavaScript. So here you can see it can evaluate JavaScript, send to JS, or of course you can invoke JS. So there's different ways of doing this and sending messages across to go a little bit deeper. All right, what did you think? If you're a web developer and you're looking to take it a step further, I wanted to show you the capabilities that .NET MAUI has with this experimental HybridWebView. Now, I'll link to some of the stand-ups that Alon was on, and of course to the GitHub repo and to the project, but go through it, give it a go and give feedback. It is an experiment form, which means it's basically a library that you can use inside of your applications today. It's not supported or anything like that. It's an experiment, but I think it's really neat. It kind of shows the flexibility of .NET MAUI as a platform to build upon. If you like this and other type of content, be sure to give this a like down over there and a subscription if you're new to the channel. I put out videos about .NET, and .NET MAUI, and C# and all that goodness just about every single week. And I'd love it if you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you get notified every time I put out a video. And of course, leave any comments below if you have any questions at all. Until the next one, thanks for watching.